All right, David, what you got?
Hey, Coach, I guess we'll start with, if there's anything new with Chandler Zavala and anything really to update on that story.
Well, his initial waiver was denied. We're in the appeal phase now, and we've Boo and the admin side of things have worked with our compliance office to hire an attorney to help him, and I guess you'd say in his battle. And that's where we're at, so we're just kind of waiting for all the fact finding to be done, from the attorney standpoint, and then to present his case with the NCAA and hope for the best on that. But no resolution at this point.
Gibby?
Yeah, Dave, is there a position group that coming into the season or coming into the spring you might have been worried about, yet as you see the guys progress through the spring drills, you're not so worried about at this point?
I don't know if we're worried, I think it's more just kind of want to see how the competition plays out. We feel like we have good competitive depth, and it's more who's going to step up and be consistent and earn the trust of the staff to kind of be the replacement for, areas where we lost players, and I think we're all aware of where those areas are. So there's multiple places, whether you're talking about the left tackle position, the running back position, where Mecca and Dylan Parham were on offense, our punter, so every day evaluating those spots and excited, just to see who kind of emerges. It's still practice 9. And as you know, we have a lot of work here in the spring, plus the summer, plus fall camp to kind of get to where we need to be.
JC?
Is there some defensive linemen that have been able to take advantage of the extra reps this spring? And it sounds like Josh Harris has lost weight and Travali Price is probably getting more chances. What have you kind of been seeing there?
Yeah, really, Davin Van's probably the most productive guy, this spring. He's really had a good spring, playing really hard. He was a lot more inconsistent a year ago than he's been this spring, and so excited to see that from him. Josh Harris is, at one time post-COVID was, in a really bad place weight-wise, and has done a tremendous job. He's almost he's below 315 pounds. And he was above 350, for a while. So this is great improvement for him. His stamina, his quickness, he's always been super strong. So, those two guys, I would tell you, are really playing at a high level. It's been fun to see Travali Price and Claude Larkins, with the twos all spring, getting a lot of work. And they've both shown, moments where they can help us. And I think this is going to be important, these next 6 practices, to allow us to really give them the information they need for their summer program on what they have to do to take the next step.
Jonas?
Coach, I wanted to ask you about a big picture story about you guys hit the jackpot, I would say, last year with transfers with Corey and Cyrus and limited duty and with Pitts. And then you bring in Darryl this offseason. How important is it in that process, because this is a new wave in college sports, to find the right guy and for your program? How much vetting do you do before you bring a guy in? Do you talk to the team? Do you talk to the position group coaches? How does that go before you bring a guy in?
Yeah, I think you're right. A year ago, we took 4 guys, and all 4 of them helped our football team, even though Cyrus's injury limited him for, the second, I guess you'd say, 10 games of the season. He only got to play in the first 2, but his presence has been felt leadership wise, and Corey was all conference on and off the field. Chandler Zavala was on pace to, I think, be one of the better guards in the ACC prior to his injury. And Pitts played in every game for us and did a lot of good things. So there's tremendous vetting that goes into the process for us. We don't, obviously we have a need, in our opinion, to recruit someone that's older. Usually that happens when you have an injury on your roster or a player transfers that you were expecting to develop, into the next guy. As you know, we're very proud of the team and the culture we've created here. And so you don't want to bring someone in that doesn't fit. And so we do lean on not just our staff, but our players for what they think of the guy when they get a chance to meet him and spend time with them. And there's follow-up questions we ask. You know, if it's a lineman or asking the offensive line, for example, what they thought of him, would he fit in their room? Is he a guy that they're excited about playing with? And how did he treat other people? And if they don't fit, then we're not going to take them, you know. And I think Daryl's situation is different because he was coached by Coach Phillips at Maryland. So he had inside information that normally you don't have. Like we had it with Pitts, you know, because Coach Gibson coached him at West Virginia, even though he came here from Marshall. So in those two instances, we felt like we had more information maybe than you normally would. And that's ideal. Because, you know, at times you can take a guy and as we know, it doesn't always work out from a playing standpoint. They may not win the job. There may be someone here that emerges that's better than them, or they may get injured and don't win the job because of that. And you don't want them to be unhappy or turn into a sour person, you know, in your program. And so you just have to be really upfront, you know, with them and don't promise them something. Don't overpromise and underdeliver when it comes to playing time. Be transparent and live up to what you talk about and with them do the homework that you can do.
James.
Dave, I apologize if you already addressed this. I joined a little late. I was wanting to ask you about your running back room, what you've seen from your running backs through spring practice, obviously with Zonovan and Ricky no longer in there.
Yeah. You know, they've been very steady. Jordan Houston looks like a veteran. You know, he's taken a lot of reps here in practice the last 2 seasons. He knows our offense. He's playing fast, very confident, an explosive player, you know, with the ball. I think Delbert Mims has improved as a runner and a ball catcher. He's always been a really competitive, tough guy. He's in good shape. I think Demi Sumo is a guy that could come on the scene for us and be an explosive player in our backfield, a big play guy. Does a lot of things well, very consistent for a younger player. You know, Michael Allen, it's great having him here early. He's learning, he's getting better, he's getting more comfortable in the offense. And Micah Crowell, who we moved to running back, hasn't had a ton of reps yet. We're still working him back. But when he's been out there, you can tell it's natural for him as a ball carrier. It's not something that's foreign. He's just it's been a long time since he's played football, you know. So trying to take our time with him and give him a chance to knock the rust off and build his confidence back. But we like the room, you know, we think we have a good blend of old and new and the guys, all 5 of them that are getting reps, and DeMarcus Jones makes 6. All 6 of those guys, you know, have different things they bring to the table.
And just to follow up, I know in previous years, and it may be too early, but in previous years, you've kind of hit it out the park talking about guys who have taken the next step. I know last year you really talked about Drake Thomas. Has there been anyone early this, you know, through spring that you feel like has made some major strides to where you could see a potentially big year coming from them?
You know, Savion Jackson's a guy that I said this last year, had he stayed healthy, I think he could have been an all-conference player. Losing him and CJ Clark early last year, they were both really playing good for us. Those, you know, for sure, Savion would be one. Jalen Parker is a young linebacker that's had probably the best spring of anybody from a production day in, day out standpoint. He's really playing good. You know, in offense, Anthony Smith would probably be that guy that has shown consistent improvement day in, day out, big playability. He's blocking well, playing more confident. You know, I think those guys probably would fit the bill there.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
David.
Hey, Dave, you know better than anyone how talented Icky is. But I am curious in his pro day if you maybe seen him hit a new level with just, you know, athleticism, and also curious at what you're hearing from NFL coaches or scouts just about where he may land in the NFL draft.
Yeah. You know, we're hearing it first round, top 5 pick, most common, you know, whether it's first overall. We know the Jaguars really like him. We know the Jets really like him. The Giants really like him. Those 3 teams seem to be the most involved in talking about him with us. pro day was really just bench press for him. He had done everything else, at the NFL draft. So it's really not, did a great job on the bench, but he was really there more to support his teammates. He was front and center cheering guys on in every drill and showing, his love for his team. But, I think he's put himself in a great position at the combine. He did a really good job. I think he answered all the questions we get are, usually about what kind of person he is, how's he going to learn football, can he play multiple positions, and they get him in those interviews, and I know he killed it in those. So I think he's done everything he can do to this point. Now it's really just going to come down to who wants to take him, over somebody else for the needs of their club. But pro day was great. I mean, our guys had a really good day yesterday.
Gibby,
Yeah, Dave, how will the spring game be run? I know a lot of times ones versus two, and some schools are going to like glorified two-hand touch. Have you guys thought about that to save for injuries?
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet, Todd. We're going to wait and see where we're at. We still got 4 days of work. I know everybody wants to know. It'll be a game format, whether we're tackling or thudding, will be to be determined. Want to make sure we're getting what we need out of that day. I know it's a televised event, but for us, it's more about, where we're at health and safety wise with our team, and being able to play live on television is a good evaluation for us. So if we can, we will. If we don't think that's prudent, we won't.
Vashti,
Coach, just piggybacking on David's question, having a top 5 pick in the draft, like what does that do for your program as far as recruiting, and then also as far as, getting, exposure?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously Bradley Chubb going 6th was a great moment for our program. And, if Icky can go higher than that, that would be incredible, not just for him, who's, going to be the most benefited guy out of that transaction is he and his family. But, I think it's just, again, shows what we do. It shows how we recruit certain players and have the ability to develop, a Garrett Bradbury, Bradley Chubb, and now Icky Ekwonu, and they deserve a lot of that credit too. They're the ones that did the work. We just set up the program for them, and they took the prescription to heart, and played really, really well, did all the things they needed to develop their bodies, their minds, and, but I think it's just, we talk about how we do things. It just proves the point more than anything. And it gives great credibility. And obviously on a national stage, it continues to showcase what we can do to develop players here.
JC,
Sometimes offensive linemen, they go into the witness protection program when they get redshirted, but you have a glut of young guys that are playing spring ball. What have you kind of seen from the backups or the deaf guys on the O-line?
Yeah, I think Anthony Belton, we're really excited about how he's come on, young tackle. Anthony Carter from Butler High School, came in here years ago with a knee injury and had to rehab himself back into practicing, and he's really doing a good job. Patrick Matton, young offensive guard tackle, can play both, has come on. I think Lyndon Cooper is a young guy that's changed his body and is getting better, can play center or guard. Excited about what we're seeing day in and day out from those guys. I think it's been fun, to see the older guys coach them too, and just, how they're trying to, instill kind of the dynamic of that room and what's expected from that room, and how they've embraced the culture of it. So it's a really good room right now. Coach Garrison's done a tremendous job.
Matt,
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of JC's question, the left tackle position with Icky gone now, have you gotten an idea who might be able to fill that spot?
Yeah, I think, there's options, between Bryson Spees and Anthony Belton, Tim McKay. Those 3 guys are, probably, as far as the returners, most likely. Obviously, we're still recruiting as well. So, we'll see where that goes. But I think if we were going to roll a football out there today, it'd be one of those three. And every day it's great to see the competition and to see them go up against Savion and, Dav and Van. I think they're getting tested. And so they're playing against really good players, and for us gives us an evaluation that's very realistic for the fall.
JC, got one more?
One more. Quarterback, it seems like all of them want to transfer at some point. It's just a really tricky position. But, that said, you're obviously one injury away from having Ben Finley be the guy. What strides have you seen from him this spring? And anything with MJ Morris's arrival, anything that you see changing there?
We're excited about Ben's progress. I mean, night and day different from last spring with him. I think he's got a really quick release. He's very mobile. The process has slowed down for him mentally. He was almost self-defeating last year. He'd have a bad play and it would just carry with him. And he's learned how to go to the next play and just move on. He's very, I think, clued into the consistency that he needs to have for the 10 people around him playing that position, and excited about, his future. He's keeps making the same type of improvement. I think, day in and day out, he's in a good spot. You just got to keep going, needs to play. And as far as MJ, he's not here yet, JC, so I can't really tell you. Once he's on campus, I'd be able to answer that. We're excited to get him here, but he's not here yet.
All right. Does anybody have anything else for Coach Doeren? All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Dave.